So the other day I talked about this guy, San Francisco. They kick his door down. They're beating on his door with a sledgehammer, his gate. He comes out and opens it. They put him in handcuffs for between 6 and 7 hours because he, being an independent journalist, received whistleblower file on the police department. It was a internal confidential memo or whatever it was. The guy sold it to 3 different local news agencies who covered the story because the police department may have a spotlight put on it. And the guy who died, in which the story was actually about, investigation was about, was a guy who was big time on showing police corruption and holding them accountable. He's dead now. So this guy is a journalist. This new guy is a journalist who's covering the story, who got the leaked confidential investigation report from the police department. So the police thought they would be able to get a warrant. Now, first of all, there's even a law in San Francisco, in California, for the state that allows a journalist to not have to disclose their sources under any circumstances. Having said that, they raided him anyways, stole all of his hard drives, laptops, computers, everything to stop him basically from being a journalist now. So they just had a time in court. And part of that is, how in the hell did the chief of police or any of them get a warrant to break the law, which allows him not to disclose his sources? And they were able to still get a warrant because they were trying to tie him into theft of this thing or somehow. Like, they're trying to pretend like, well, we think you'll see, there's an inside employee at the police department who worked with him. And that's how he got it. So that's, I'm assuming they... did their spiel to the judge somehow. So there's actually 2 here. France threatens journalists with jail time for exposing government lies about Yemen. So France was sending weapons, as in machine guns and whatnot, to Saudi Arabia, who were then using them against the people in Yemen or something like that. It's uncovered, journalist gets the information, publishes it, and now they're being threatened with, well, the old favorite of Jason Ip4, national security. Hit it with that national security stamp, and then everything goes out the window. See, if you say it's a national security matter, there's no more rights, you have no more privileges, you have nothing. That just goes to show you the only thing you ever had was a privilege. And a privilege can be taken away. A law and a right, because of that law, cannot be taken away. So do we have laws? Are we nations of laws across the planet? Or are we nations of privileges under the guise of laws, kind of, sort of, until you F with us and expose our criminality? Then you have privileges. Let's start with the France one. France has threatened 3 French journalists with potential jail time for using secret documents to reveal the country's involvement in the Yemen civil war. In a series of reports published in April, investigative journalists from Disclose and Radio France revealed the number of French arms sold to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. The documents, authored by France's Directorate of Military Intelligence, showed that senior French officials had lied. Oh, that's why they're mad. Because they lied. It's exposed. You effing criminal government politicians, you're liars. You're wasting our tax money, not just in America, in this case France, to do these illegal activities across the planet. And then when we cover it, oh, no. Oh, you found out that we lied. Oh, national security. We're lying. Click national security. We'll arrest you if you publish that. So it showed that the senior French officials had lied about the role of French weapons in the Yemen war. Following the publication of the reports in April, Disclosed co-founders Geoffrey and Matthias and Radio France journalist Benoit had were asked to attend a hearing at the DSGI headquarters in Paris. The 3 journalists refused to reveal their sources. So they went, but we're not going to tell you our sources. That's protected right, I guess, for them in France as well. After being questioned by the DSGI on the origin of the document, their work, and posts on Facebook and Twitter, the journalists used the hearing to defend press freedom and how it was in the public interest to publish details from the DSGI document. Again, it's in the public interest because you effing bastards are liars. You're liars. And we've exposed you as a liar. Freedom of press has been protected for more than 130 years under the Press Law of 1881, which gives journalists the right to keep sources confidential. But the law, however, does not cover, national security, and the journalist could be sentenced under a new 2009 French law that considers as an offense the handling of a classified document without clearance or proper authorization. Hey, listen, government, I caught you mother effers lying through your teeth, and the people of France really need to hear this because you're effing criminals. Do I have your permission to publish this? No, my friend, no. Why not? Well, it's a national security issue. Have a nice day. Can you see why the law in 1881 was passed? So that someone who gets any information can post it. It's the leaker who should be in trouble if that leaker is found out. You went in and got some, classified or whatever documents, and you published them, you gave them to somebody, you're the one that's in trouble. Oh, you had government access because you were a contractor, you're the one in trouble. Don't shoot the messenger. So we have this happening in France. Let's go back over to San Francisco. They just had a hearing, updated May 21st. Adachi leak. San Francisco cops explained why they raided journalist cite, conspiracy probe. Under fire for a raid on the home and office of a freelance journalist who refused to identify a confidential source, San Francisco Police Chief Bill Scott on Tuesday explained the action by saying his department suspected. Did you catch that word? Suspected. We suspect. We think. Suspected does not mean we have evidence showing you did this. Because if you did, then you get the warrant, you knock his doors down. We don't just suspect you've done this. We're charging you with doing it, and here's our evidence. We have you on video camera inside the police station working with this guy and him handing these documents. Nope. No. His department just merely suspected the man took part in a criminal conspiracy to steal an internal police report on the February death of public defender Jeff Adachi. Quote, "We believe the line was crossed," Scott said. "We believe he took part in this act." And by using the word believe, that's like saying, like we know when the cops stop you for doing nothing, you're walking down a neighborhood. Oh, a neighbor called, said there's a suspicious person walking in their street, their neighborhood. Oh, you want to talk to me? Yeah, can I have your license? No, you can't. Okay, well, do you know it's illegal for you not to present your ID when asked by a law enforcement officer? Yeah, I do know that, but did you know, Mr. Smart, law knowledgeable officer, that you can't demand my ID unless you've suspected me of committing a crime, or I match the description of some crime that was just committed, etc. And then the cops have to back off. Oh, and some of these morons don't even know. So then they get, I'll say right here, am I detained? Yeah, for now you are. And then they pick up the phone. They don't get on the radio. That's recorded. The radio's recorded. Now they get on their phone, the cell phone, call their lieutenant or sergeant or whoever. Yeah, I got, okay. Yeah, all right. And then ultimately, usually how it ends, not always, because then there's a lawsuit and the guy wins typically. Usually how it ends is, yeah, all right, have a nice day. So I'm not detained any longer. Why was I detained to begin with? Well, I was suspicion of, you're a suspicious person. Is a suspicious person mean automatically I'm committing a crime? Well, no, but you might be, so that's why I'm checking you out. And then they try to backpedal. You don't think the chief of effing police over here in San Francisco would try that nonsense as an excuse today, or yesterday, really. I mean, today is Wednesday, yesterday, Tuesday. And I'm doing a video for tomorrow. You don't think he'd pull that crap, do you? Not at all. We believe the line was crossed, he said. We believe he took part in this act. But in an extraordinary news conference, Scott, chief of police, alleged only that the journalist, Brian Carmody, participated in receiving and distributing a leaked government report, an action that is common in the media and protected by the First Amendment. The chief explained why police believe Carmody participated in a conspiracy. Oh, he must have the evidence right here. Here it goes. We believe that a San Francisco Police Department employee was a part of this. We believe that in order for this to be successfully pulled off, there had to be some contact between the employee and Mr. Carmody. We believe he was part of the effort to illegally obtain this report. Even if there was a conversation between a police department person and this guy, Carmody, that does not automatically mean Carmody went in and broke in and stole it. That's not what happened. If your employee in the police department called Carmody, I've got something for you, and hands it to him. Here's your investigative report, this confidential police report. Carmody should never be part of this conspiracy. He received the documents, and like any good journalist would do, expose the police department, expose the report. And that's retaliation by the police department for saying, you little bastard, now you've got public eye on us, we're pissed off at you. What do? They kick your effing door down, handcuff the man for nearly 6 to 7 hours, handcuffed, for just a search warrant to grab some computer equipment. Why is he being, if you didn't even take him to jail? No. Was he charged? No. Just investigating. Then why is he in handcuffs? Why is he in handcuffs for freaking hours? Again, to piss him off, to aggravate him, to upset him, because you upset the police department for exposing their criminality through that report you released. That's what the story is here. Scott alternatively said on the May 10th raid, I'm not here to try to defend it. He acknowledged that leaks happen all the time and that I understand a journalist can receive reports. He said repeatedly, there are some lessons to be learned here. Asked about the new allegation on Tuesday, Carmody said, I'm speechless. You know, Carmody, the guy that got raided. I'm speechless, right. I'm speechless. Well, they got a warrant to kick my house down, basically, doors down, detain me and cuff me for 6 to 7 hours on simple, well, the lessons to be learned, you know, maybe we should. So I can't wait to see how in the hell they got that warrant. What information was provided? Because if you can get that information, you can. Freedom of Information Act. What information was provided to the courts, in which 2 judges, by the way, signed off and gave him the warrant. Go ahead and kick the guy's door down. What information did the police provide to these judges? Now I'm gonna give you a wild conspiracy theory. This is crazy. FBI, head of the top damn FBI, James Comey, head of multiple intelligence agencies, Brennan, Clapper, all conspired, all lied, gave false information to the FISA court to spy on Donald Trump. Head top guys of all intelligence agencies pretty much in our country did this. Do you think a little piddly old San Francisco police department can't do that? And don't actually do it like it's common practice? I'll throw that out there. Which goes to show you that both the FBI, the local law enforcement, your state law enforcement, it is corrupt from top to bottom. They do this as common practice. We break the law, we punish you people for exposing us, and we do it so frequently it'll make your head spin. But most people don't have the time, the money, the lawyer, the defense to dig into this and actually hold us accountable. So we throw them in jail, we charge them with a bunch of stuff that they can't defend themselves from, and we teach them a lesson. It's the blueprint, except this guy did get a lawyer and is fighting back, and there's something interesting we will continue about here. Carmody says, I'm speechless. He said he did not pay for the report or conspire to steal the report. I received a copy of the thing, he said. That's it. Carmody said he obtained the police report from a confidential source shortly after Adachi's death at age 59 on February 22nd. He then sold it to 3 television news stations who aired portions of it. Some city officials were angered by the leak, suspecting it was an effort to smear the late public defender, who was known for his crusades against police misconduct. Police served a search warrant on Carmody's home and office, seizing computers, phones, and other items in a bid to identify his source. Scott said the police investigation is focused on San Francisco Police Department employees. Sorry, Scott's the chief of police. He said the investigation is focused on San Francisco Police Department employees. So how in the F did he get a warrant to search this guy's house? He's not a San Francisco Police Department employee. In that quote, a secondary focus of the investigation is whether Mr. Carmody was an active participant in the commission of criminal acts beyond his role with the news media. Possible crimes, police say, include conspiracy to commit a crime, theft, unlawful dissemination of a confidential report, and delaying or obstructing a public officer. Scott said Carmody's motive would be profit, though Carmody has said he makes a living as a freelance journalist by selling videos and documents. The chief also noted that in an interview with investigators, Carmody expressed disdain for Mr. Adachi. California's SHIELD law protects journalists from being compelled to review their sources. The law specifically bars police from searching journalists in order to uncover a source. Asked about the SHIELD law, Chief Scott said, "We do believe Mr. Carmody committed a crime." Later he said, "We respect the news media," and promised his department would really dissect its investigation and be thoughtful about it. "We have to own what we own," he said. "I hope this is not coming across as a defense," he said. "This is an opportunity to tell the people why we did what we did." Scott spoke after police officials said in court earlier in the day that they would return all property to Carmody. But while officials said they will give back computers, cameras, hard drives, and other electronic equipment, it was not immediately clear what investigators planned to do with any evidence or information they had discovered and downloaded during and since the raid. Attorneys for Carmody and the police department discussed the issue during a brief hearing in San Francisco Superior Court. Carmody's lawyer, Thomas Burke, sought the return of his client's properties while asking the judge, Samuel Feng, to quash the 2 search warrants police obtained before searching Carmody's home and office. Burke, who has represented the Chronicle and its parent company, Hearst Corp., in other cases, has argued that police violated his client's right to due process along with the state SHIELD law. Quote, "I think it's important when you have something like this happen, you get the material back as soon as you can," Burke said outside court. But we want the search warrants revoked, and we want it made clear that they shouldn't have been issued in the first place. Ronnie Wagner, an in-house attorney at the police department, did not file any motions opposing the effort to quash the warrants and did not provide any justification for the search during the hearing. Feng did not rule on any motions and set a deadline for police to file any opposition by May 31st. Attorneys are due back in court June 10th. An attorney representing the First Amendment Coalition, a nonprofit that advocates for free speech and government accountability. Be careful, First Amendment Coalition. You may get your doors kicked in. You're going to expose government. You want to keep putting pressure with government accountability? Hey, you might get your doors kicked in. Filed a motion to unseal the search warrants in the case. Oh, the police department filed the warrants under seal. So right off the bat, this is sealed. This is extremely important, super duper top secret. We got to have these sealed. Why? The same reason James Comey needed all that shit sealed. We can't ever let the American public see what we've done. And since Hillary Clinton's going to win anyways, they'll never be able to file anything that'll force us to show these. And then Donald Trump won, and he's allowing it to be shown and allowing things to be unsealed, declassified. So this First Amendment Coalition will probably be successful in getting them unsealed. Anyways, the police department filed the warrants under seal, leaving it unclear precisely what officers disclosed in the affidavits describing their suspicion that a crime had occurred. There's your answer. A crime has to occur. We believe it. Here's the evidence, both of your honors. We need a warrant to search this guy's house. We need to seal this, though, because we don't want anybody seeing the reason we gave you for the warrant. See how that works? That's their own version of, click, national security. Oh, super duper secret. A confidential internal police memo was leaked. Holy shit. Call the National Guard. Holy shit. Confidential police memo? Oh, Jesus Christ. String me up and hang me the way you're talking. Jerky Boys once said. So I do think they'll be successful. It may take a little fighting, but they may be successful to see what information did you provide the judges and what happens. I'm going to ask, what happens if the information they provided the judges is proven to be completely fabricated, fake, another James Comey job? Then what? Does the chief of police go to jail? Do the officers issuing that warrant who asked for the warrant, do they go to jail? Do they get charged? Or is it a simple lawsuit? Okay, sorry we kicked your door in. Sorry we made an example out of you. Here's your equipment back in pieces. We've stolen and copied everything off your effing hard drives. Oh, you got naked pictures of your wife. You got certain things on there. Oh, sorry, we got it all. We're hanging on to that stuff. Oh, and it might leak later on. Might leak online. Oh, and here's your little payday, sir. Piss off. Okay, is any officer held accountable? Chief of police held accountable? Is he fired? Is he going to do time? No. We police ourselves. Self-policing. And when we do something wrong, we self-investigate. And guess what? We didn't find anything wrong with ourselves. Piss off.